In the last decade, the world has witnessed a rapid transformation of money. It is now available in an electronic and even virtual form. From the physical form to mobile wallets, cryptocurrencies, and the latest on the list is digital form. 86% of the countries from the US to Japan are exploring right now this new form of currency. However, China is far ahead in this game, and it's all set to launch its electronic yuan nationwide in 2022. Nevertheless, the general population finds the term digital currency a little confusing, and many people interchange the term with cryptocurrencies. However, they are at a fundamental level different from each other, and today we're going to talk about the electronic yuan and how it differs from cryptocurrencies as we know them. So let's begin. Hi there, thank you for stopping by. My name is Hector. If you are new around the channel, here we talk about crypto, personal finance, and the Cardano project. So if you're into those kind of things, I would suggest stick around. Also consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you get an alert every time we put more content out in the tube. So what is a digital currency? A digital currency is a form of payment feasible only through electronic and digital means, and it's as old as the internet. In 1983, a research paper by David Chow introduced the idea of digital cash. In 1989, he found DigiCash, an electronic cash company in Amsterdam, to commercialize the ideas in his research. E-gold was the first widely used internet money. It was introduced in 1996, and it grew to several million users before the US government shut it down in 2008. So the concept of digital money is not new. However, acceptance and adoption were both problematic, and it took some time for people. But as people became more comfortable with it, the reach has only widened. One of the trailblazers for this field was PayPal, who introduced the idea of digital transactions and how new age currencies were paving the way for digital money. Also known as electronic currency, electronic money, or even cybercash, one needs to be connected to the internet through an electronic device to store, manage, and exchange transactions in digital currency. Like its physical counterpart, it can be used to buy goods, pay bills, or any tangible services with a quick transaction. However, it should not be confused with virtual currency or cryptocurrencies. I guess you can understand it like this. When a central bank of a country issues it, we call it central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. If you want to learn more about CBDCs, I have a full video explaining all about them, so please make sure to check the link in the description below. When it exists in an unregulated form, we refer to it as virtual currencies, and it's managed by the founding organization, the currency developer, or the established network. So virtual currencies like Bitcoin, ADA, or Ethereum are different from the electronic yuan and other digital currencies at the most fundamental level. Please keep that in mind because even though both share some characteristics that make them superior to regular physical fiat money, they represent completely different principles. Virtual currencies like Bitcoin push financial decentralization, while digital currencies like the electronic yuan seek to further centralize economic power in the hands of the government. So with that being said, it's not hard to imagine why China is the biggest proponent for the implementation of digital currencies. As an interesting fact, it's been 500 years after China invented a paper currency, and now they are again spearheading the creation and implementation of digital currency. Formerly known as Digital Currency Electronic Payments, or DCEP, China is the first nation to have a digital currency on its own, having had this plan in the pipeline since 2014. After years of research and planning, digital renminbi testing and trials began in a few selected cities in 2020 and have now expanded to a few selected countries for cross-border trials. Around 23 million digital yuan were distributed in lotteries last year for this specific purpose. China's plan is to replace all cash with digital yuan and become the first cashless society. China is already known for having a very advanced payment system in place. When that happens, China would be the first economy to do so in the real world. China is focusing on the use of DCEP as a means of settlement and payment for financial markets between institutions to make it transparent, efficient, and easier to regulate. The reason for this is because cash payments run a huge chunk of the Chinese economy, and breaking this cycle will help to control illegal cash flow, corruption, and tax evasion. At present, it is unclear what technologies are incorporated in developing China's digital currency. This could be another point of differentiation from virtual currencies. Even though blockchain is thought to be part of this infrastructure, near-field communication could also be used to facilitate offline money transfers, which will later be updated once both parties get access to the internet. This would represent a big advantage over cryptocurrencies, which fully relied on the blockchain and access to internet to process and settle transactions. So how does the e-yuan work? Like with WeChat Pay and Alipay, which are the biggest players in the Chinese e-commerce industry, people will not be required to have a bank account to access digital currencies. Anybody with access to a smartphone will be able to access these services. This will promote financial inclusion by facilitating people with the power to pay online. And as we mentioned earlier, this technology will also allow people to receive and even send money without being connected to the internet. In this regard, making it even more convenient than cryptocurrencies and services like Alipay and WeChat Pay. When the app becomes available, users can download the digital Yuan wallet and store their money there. This will create a QR code that vendors can use. The merchants can receive money by scanning the QR code on the user's phone, or the users can scan the QR code on the shop and send them money. For this, the merchants will have to put up a signboard to convey that they accept the digital currency. In this regard, the electronic yuan should have an easy learning curve, since this is almost exactly how WeChat Pay and Alipay work, so users shouldn't have a difficult time implementing it. With China launching pilot projects across the country, many merchants have already signed up to accept the digital currency. Besides that, the central bank is aspiring to make transactions possible without internet, so the business with fear of transactions taking time can set their minds at peace. So far so good, huh? It seems like digital currencies like the electronic yuan might as well be the way to go. They are a superior alternative to physical fiat in almost every sense. They're faster, cheaper to use, easier to transact with, and relatively low learning curve since the world's already familiar with methods of electronic payment like credit cards, Venmo, PayPal, or WeChat and Alipay in the case of China. Well, what is the catch then? Because there's one, and it's honestly a big one. But before we talk about that, if you're still watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you're enjoying this content, would you do me a favor and pump that like button for the YouTube algorithm? It really helps the channel to grow, and it also helps this content to reach more people like you. So thank you so much, and let's keep talking about the electronic yuan. As we said earlier, there is a big fundamental difference between virtual or cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and the electronic yuan. The main one is decentralization versus centralization. Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies were created with decentralization in mind, to empower the final user and the network that helps its operations. Digital currencies like the electronic yuan, on the other hand, were created to give its government more power and control of the economy dynamics. This centralization in power sparks big concerns, particularly in privacy issues. For instance, transactions on both networks are trackable. The difference is that on Bitcoin, transactions are pseudonymous, which means that although every transaction itself is recorded on the blockchain, the public ledger doesn't really establish a direct link or connection to the person's identity. This provides a good balance between traceability and privacy that protects the final user. On the other hand, the digital yuan is 100% trackable by China's central bank. And because it's so centralized, this could allow the government to collect sensitive information about the person performing that transaction. Who is paying, how much they are paying, when they are paying, and where they are paying. And then analyzing this data, the government could easily find spending patterns, the users might find this as an intrusion into their financial management. Moreover, because digital currencies can be programmed, similar to smart contracts. By the way, if you want to know more about smart contracts, I have a video also explaining it, so I will point you to that in the description below. But as I was saying, because these digital currencies can be programmed, this would give the government complete power in its supply, who can access it and the ways it should be spent. Can you imagine if the government was to put an expiration date on your savings to stimulate spending? That would be crazy. And what about inflation? We haven't even talked about inflation. Bitcoin, as well as some of the best players in the cryptocurrency space, are deflationary assets. This means that they have a limited supply established at their creation. This is what makes Bitcoin such a good investment and much better hedge against inflation than most other investments. Unlike cryptocurrencies, the electronic yuan does not have a limited supply. This means that the government controls the number of coins circulating in the market. And because digital currencies work and move like data, the whole process of money printing will be exponentially easier for the government, allowing it to create as many notes of money as they want by just a push of a button. As you can imagine, digital currencies, or the electronic yuan as it is our case study today, is not really a solution for inflation. And honestly, the thought of handing the government full power and control over our spending and collection for sensitive data, it's really terrifying. There is no doubt in my mind that digital money is the future of currency. It provides so many benefits and advantages over traditional physical fiat money that honestly it makes it look archaic. I believe the real question would be which way we go about to adopt this technology. Will we hand complete control to the government over our finances, spending, and other sensitive data? Or will we opt for a decentralized system, more fair, without a central authority pulling strings to control the supply and spending in the market? I'm interested to know what you think about in the comments down below, so I will invite you, please go ahead and comment, let me hear your thoughts, let me read your thoughts. Well, this is it for today, guys. As always, if you are bullish on crypto and blockchain, do me a favor and pump that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps the channel to grow and it makes this content go further and reach more people like you. Also, if you enjoy this content, don't forget, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get an alert every time I release new content. So thank you guys, this is Hector and I will see you when I'll see you.